Hello everyone and welcome to our first episode of 2024 and a special one we have for you because together with the people here at the table and you watching at home and not to forget our digital guests, we will be celebrating 30 years of EURES. In the coming year we will be having 3 episodes all with a different and interesting topic, but today it is going to be all about you. Now, joining me here in the studio are some of the most experienced EURES advisors that we have in the network with a combined total of 135 years of experience. That's pretty amazing, 135 years. Well, welcome to you all. So let's start with a quick introduction. On my left here, Beata, welcome. You joined in what year?
In 2004.
2004.
Yeah.
So, what, 20 years already?
20 years. So I've been EURES advisor for 20 years.
20 years. Next to you, Daniel Bellon, welcome from the Canary Islands, Spain.
Yes, from the Canary Islands.
How many years have you been?
Wow, 30 plus 1.
30 plus, yeah. 30
because
plus
we started the training with my friend Jorgen together in 1993.
1993, so 30 plus 1. First time we meet in person because you've been on EUREStv 3 times already, I think.
Yeah.
Every time digital.
Always online.
That's right. And I promised, next time I'm going to invite you.
You're right.
There we go. Next to you, Daniel, Arad Mut, our man from the Netherlands. Welcome. How many years with EURES?
As we speak, 27 years, 1 hour and 30 seconds.
31 seconds, 32 seconds, 33 seconds. Welcome, well done. Jürgen, from Denmark, EURES advisor, also, well, like Daniel said, one of the first advisors. How many years for you?
Well, Daniel already mentioned that we were trained in 93, so quite many years now.
1993, 30 plus 1.
Yeah.
So actually, in your case, we're celebrating 30 plus 1 years of EURES. Excellent. Annika Sund, welcome from Sweden. Not only a EURES expert, but also an expert on EURES Vision.
Yes.
You remember you were in the program in 2021?
I remember the EURES Vision, yes, and now it's time for the Eurovision again. It's this time of year.
Yeah, you're a big fan, we know.
I am.
When did you start with EURES?
1st of February in 98.
98, so that would make it
26 years and a couple of months.
A couple of months. Well, that's pretty impressive. Well, a pretty impressive collection of EURES advisors indeed. Also, through a digital connection, we have some EURES advisors that have recently joined the network, and of course, we want to have them join here as well today. You might see them behind me. And of course, welcome to you all as well. Thank you for joining us here in the studio. Now, before we delve into your stories and your memories, because I want to pick your brains about everything that happened in the past 30 years, let's visit the place where it all started about 30 years ago. Let's go to Brussels. 30 years of EURES, of course, has a beginnings. And for that, today I'm meeting with Denis Janton right here at the European Commission in beautiful Brussels. So let's go inside and find it. Let's start with first with yourself, who you are and where we are today.
So I'm Denis Janton. I'm a director in DG Employment, Social Affairs, Inclusion. I'm the director of a directorate called the European Pillar of Social Rights / Strategy.
Can you share some information about the origins of the network?
Yes, so EURES was born in '94. Just after the completion of the internal market. Internal market is 4 freedoms of movement of goods, services, capital and people, workers. So EURES was set up because in this area, in the area of labor mobility, there was no Europe there in the member states. So we had to inject a bit the European dimension in all these institutions in the member states dealing with labor. Employment, labor mobility, and that was the reason why I believe that EURES was set up. So we had to reform the system. We had this context of, Brexit, a lot of discussions on social dumping at the EU level and so on. And so this is when I started. And I had on my file the review of the posting directive. So this is about basically the Polish plumber, and at the same time I had to take care of EURES as well. So that was the context in which I started in EURES, and that was extremely interesting. The European Labour Authority became the EURES coordination office when it started, so in 2019, and then there was a kind of transition period, and I think the final handover was made in 2021. And that was difficult for us and for the team. We did not let EURES go to ELA with great pleasure, I must say, because the team was great. We liked the interactions with the network. From this point of view, I think it's a success. So this is one of the strengths of EURES, is that behind EURES there is a network of people. And what I have as well understood when I was taking part in events in the member states, for some of the people I met, the EURES portal is their daily bread. I mean, this is the first thing they open in the morning when they come to work. So I had no idea about that, so of course I was very happy when I learned all this. So the strength of EURES is its people, its workforce, and the network, definitely. Yeah. When we started with COVID, without EURES, I could not have drafted these guidelines on free movement under COVID. That is for sure. But indeed, EURES, thanks to all the information that EURES gathers in its portal, we have very interesting reports. For instance, one of them is the reports on surpluses and labor shortages as well. And there we know, and this was used for the latest initiative from this commission, by the way. There was a communication in March precisely on skills and labor shortages, and they used the EURES material as well. They used other materials, but this report from EURES ELA was used indeed.
So here we are again. That was an excellent meeting with Denis, and I heard some really interesting stories. Right now, I'm going to explore Brussels a little while longer while you go back to the studio.
Well, such a pleasure meeting Denis, and thank him for his time, of course. Any one of you been to the European Commission in Brussels before?
Yes, I have.
A couple of times.
No, not me.
Oh, not you?
Not yet.
But everybody else has. So it's a well-known location. But Beata, a question for you. How do you recall the beginning of services when you started as a EURES advisor?
Yeah, I started in 2004, so I am from the group of the very beginning. So I would say that at the beginning it was difficult and very challenging. It was difficult task to deal with for people who were appointed to be EURES advisor. Why? Because we, at the very beginning, had no knowledge about EURES. I remember our first conference, it was held in Warsaw in July 2003, so even almost a year before we joined European Union. And we got some information about EURES services, but still we didn't have that practical knowledge of EURES. I remember that we even kept asking each other, what kind of services are EURES?
Yeah.
Whether it's like vocational counseling or maybe job placement or both. And of course, later on we got some theoretical knowledge of EURES, but still we're missing that practical knowledge. And I remember that I sent an email to one of my British colleagues. Great Britain was one of the twinning Polish partner. And I asked her for the description of the typical day of a EURES advisor. And to my great surprise, she replied that, wow, it is impossible to describe the typical day of EURES advisor. I wanted to have that knowledge to know step by step what EURES advisors should do, because she said that every day is different. Yeah. And very soon I realized what she meant.
I see some confirming nods and noises at the table. Is that the same experience that you've had when you started?
Well, I must say, when we started, we didn't have any strategies and nobody told us what to do. I like it very much because I like to have new ideas and do things in practical life. So I had a very much focus on employers. So we could start up projects immediately, and to having this network of EURES advisors in all countries was fantastic. We started up seasonal work and did that for 15 years, 25,000 places. So it has been incredible. But you really have to invent things yourself. Nobody told you what to do.
That's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't called a EURES advisor at the time, right? It had a different name, Daniel. What was
Yeah, the name was Euro Advisors.
Euro Advisor.
Yeah.
Euro Advisor, like the coin. And sometimes there were mistakes for the public, because one of the good points of EURES is that there is one person in your city where you can go to ask things, normally about EURES, but people sometimes commit some mistakes.
And they call you Euro.
Yeah, about the euro and what would happen with my money, and I don't know.
It's a bit different. But you all got training at the time, and it was a bit different than we see the trainings now. Annika?
Oh yes, it was. It was, first we had 10 days in Brussels. All groups had 10 days in Brussels, and this was in '98 in the spring. We were 4 different groups. I think we were around 25 people in each group. And the trainings were in German, English, or French English, so they were bilingual with interpretation. We had the interpreters in the back of the room all the time. And after these 10 days in Brussels, we did a project together with colleagues, other colleague from another country, and then it came to the second part, and that was also 10 days long, with a weekend in between where we had social event excursions and got to know each other so well. We got friends, deep friends during these times. And the second part was somewhere else in Europe. In my case, it was in Germany, in Hanover.
So that's amazing. So actually a lot of investment in time to know each other and to start a network. You also mentioned projects doing together. Alan, I think during a project you actually met somebody famous when you were somewhere, right?
Well, not during that project. It was a little bit later on when I had a famous, let's say, person I met. That was when we had also working and living in other countries. So that was the time that I went to Iceland, and we were touring around with this great bus with colleagues and from EURES, from Norway, Denmark, and of course the Netherlands. And then suddenly the bus stopped, and there was some kind of canal or river or whatever. It was a bridge, and it stopped, and the doors went open, and this guy comes in, and before I recognized him, he said, "My name is Bond." Oh, James Bond. Don't worry. Your time to die has not yet come. So, but anyway, that was not actually the case. in my head it was, but no, we stopped, and what seemed later on that there was the shooting of one of the James Bond films in that area. So there was a lot of stuff around, cameras and so on. So we never saw James Bond. I had no selfie with Jinx. You know who Jinx was?
Yes, I remember.
But anyway, so that was my first interaction with a famous person as a EURES advisor.
It was Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan was that.
And Halle Berry.
And Halle Berry.
That's it.
Yes. We had no cell phones in them days, so I could not make a selfie. Anyway, it was a nice experience.
Different time indeed. And you say that was in a bus. Jürgen, you organized a bus tour at one point.
Oh yes, our minister had a meeting in Poland, and they made a survey asking Polish people which country do you want to go to if you want to go abroad. And Denmark was number 12 on the list. And I heard that, and I said, well, we have to do something with this. We have to do something in the media. So the idea was to take a bus, decorate it with EURES, and then to fill it with Danish employees who needed people, and also the press. So we actually drove, we did a week in Poland and a week in Germany, and each day in Poland we had more than 10 million viewers, and I had to do the interview. Wow. So it was quite funny, and well, it was a great success. And when on the way home I was called by the Danish radio. They had a direct broadcast, and they asked me, well, Jørgen, what is your next crazy question? Or crazy project? I had to think about something, and we were crossing a bridge with water, and I said, well, I have the idea. We will rent a big floating boat, and then we will take the Donau River. We have 11 countries. We can make a job fair every day. We don't need to think about hotels and everything. So it was great. So I actually planned it. We made actually a contract with a Dutch company. Everything was clear, but then the financial crisis came. But anyway, after the bus tour, we were number 2 on the list when asking Polish people. So I think everybody was happy because there was a high unemployment rate in Poland. So fantastic. We couldn't do that without the EURES network.
But I think that's a good story. Maybe we can do the bus, no, not the bus trip, the boat trip someday. I'm assuming the bus was a bit bigger than this one, but the boat trip sounds like a good plan. If we can organize together, make number 2s. Yeah?
Why not?
Well,
we can start up north in the
yeah, we start in
north of
Sweden.
Sweden.
Exactly. We end on the Canary Islands.
For instance.
Perfect. I'm all in. Let's take a step back in the past. And we actually prepared a photo collage for you. We'll put it on the screen. So let's have a look at that. Well, look at those kids back in the day. And now here we are, some years later. Did you see some familiar faces on there?
Yes, a lot of.
Oh, yes.
A lot of.
Yeah.
Many, right?
At least we can recognize each other.
We can recognize each other. That's the main part. That's the main part. So many memories, and of course, and I do want to hear more. But first, we also like to include the people that are with us through the digital wall, our new advisors, and we'd like to try and see how their knowledge has already evolved so far. We're going to do a quiz together here at the table, but also with the people there in the digital connection. So are you ready? Then we will start the quiz, and I'll ask the questions. Might have been good if I explained that we need to answer in red, blue or yellow, but we don't have to do that. Can you see the quiz? Yes. All right. Now, going to the first question, let's see how well you've learned the network so far. So, first question. What does the acronym EURES stand for? Is it European Entertainment Services? Is it European Unemployment Services or European Employment Services? What shall it be? Tick tock, tick tock. Which answer? I see reds on the screen. I see reds. Do I see different colors? All red? I think everybody's red. Right. The correct answer, of course, is
Red.
There we go, red. European Employment Services. Well done. Well, it cannot be anything else, can it?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it could be.
The first one was okay.
Yeah, the first one
sounds nice also.
All right, second question. Well, good thing we got everything right. Second question. Here we go. So, how many countries are represented in the EURES network today? Is it blue 27, yellow 28, or red 31 countries? Here we are. Let's see what colors come up. I see some reds. I see a blue there. I see a blue. I see a yellow. I see a red. Well, the correct answer, of course, is 31. 31 countries. My goodness. Did I see different colors here at the table?
30.
31 countries, yes. The EURES network, right? It's not the European Union. There you go. Might be a bit of a trick question. I think most of the people on the digital screen got it correct. But don't worry, even here, people didn't really have...
So you put us on trick questions.
It is. It's not really a trick question when you say EURES network. Come on. I mean,
oh, no.
All right. Next question. Let's see. Next question. How many stars are there in the European Union flag? Is it blue 12, yellow 24, or is it red 31? We all know this one, right? I think. If you're clever, you can start counting. Yeah. I see yellow, I see blue, mostly blue. Well, the correct answer, of course, is blue. There we go. So, I'm afraid that somebody has to leave the digital screen now. No, I'm just joking. You won't have to leave. It is 12 stars because it's the amount of countries that founded the first treaty. And, of course, more countries came. Otherwise, you'll have a flag full of stars. A bit too much, right? But we all let it correct here. What was EURES actually called before it became EURES? Do you remember?
CEDOC.
CEDOC. It was, right? CEDOC. Do you know what it stands for?
Well, it's a very long French name, so I have not... I read it last week, but I cannot recollect it
Yeah,
because
but it's a French acronym.
Yeah, yeah.
It is a French. Actually, I looked it up just for your information. It stands for European System for International Clearing of Vacancies and Applications for Employment.
Right.
Sounds French.
It sounds like a very long trip. Now, let's move on, because it's time for a quick trip to Dublin. We had our colleague or reporter Giovanni meet up with Anton to share his story.
Today we are in Dublin, Ireland. We are going to meet Anton Burihin. He moved here 20 years ago and he made for himself a life as an international worker. We are very excited to hear his story, so let's go and find him.
Hey guys, I'm Anton, so I'm originally from Estonia and I've moved to Ireland in 2002.
How did you know about EURES and came to contact the service?
I've come across EURES when I finished my military course and I was seeking the job and I just happened to have a friend in EURES in Estonia.
When you made the move, what was the biggest challenge you faced?
Well, 20 years ago, Giovanni, I didn't have no English. My English was yes, no, my name is, and that was the biggest challenge. My first flight, and there was not just one flight, there was 3 flights. But what motivated me, it's actually a little story about my brother and me, that he went to England to pick the strawberries. And when he came back, he had all these pounds to change. And he has loads of crowns in his hands. And I got jealous because of a little brother. And I said, you know, one day I go there somewhere in England or whatever, and I will make the same money as you.
Did you get any other support with the onboarding process?
Yes, back in 20 years, there was such a problematic issue to open the bank. Any of the kind of financial departments wouldn't open any banks to foreign people. You had to have a full address, which we didn't have at the moment. In this case, the Freshways, the company that I worked in the first place, they made it all happen for us. So we had bank accounts all set up for us, P40, P60s, the tax, all the system was up and running when we started working.
You started in a warehouse, but it did not stop there for you.
Yes, you're right, Giovanni. I started as a general operative in the dispatch area, which it's like, I describe it as a big fridge, plus 5 degrees every time. So we have to wear safety shoes and all the rest. But it took me probably 2 years to get my team leader 1, and there was 3 positions, team leader 2, team leader 3, and I was eager for more afterwards, so I got my supervisor position after 5 years. Well, after 4, sorry. And then I stayed at supervisor position for 1 year.
Would you say that it was a life-changing experience?
By all means, it was. I became really mature very quickly. You know, after military course, I was matured already, but this gave me total different experience because you had to manage your own money, you had to manage everything yourself, basically. There was no mom and dad there to call, just on the phone, but yeah, so you were responsible for your life yourself, and decisions that you made was reflected. Well, after 21 years, you know, we've got house. Now I'm married. I've got the kid. The whole life is set here, in stone, should I say? But nevertheless, I dream about I'd say, a holiday home in Spain.
Would you suggest the EURES services to your children?
Yes, absolutely. I will encourage my children to seek such opportunities either themselves or use the service such EURES. To all the people there who would like to explore, and they just need not to be afraid. Based on my experience, EURES is my golden ticket, should I say, to Europe.
An amazing story, and what an excellent example of exploring international opportunities. Very inspiring. Now I'm going to visit Dublin a little longer while you go back to the studio.
Well, such a nice story, and thank you, Anton, for sharing that with us. It does really speak to EURES services, right? The experience that he has. Do you have a story about a client that you remember the most?
Yeah, yes. I have that story about my client whom I helped to go abroad. Several years ago, I was involved in some project with Iceland, and we got the job vacancy. We started to promote. It was the job of the oil platform. And one day, one of my clients came into my office. From the very beginning, he seems to be a little bit like hopeless, depressed. And he told me that he wasn't able to find a job in Poland. So he really would like to get out of the town, and he would like to go abroad. So I encouraged him not to give up in searching for a job. I looked through the database and I found that job vacancy on Iceland. And when I told him that there is job opportunity for you on Iceland, so he started to smile a little bit. And he said, oh my God, it's really great because this is my favorite country. And we started to talk about that country, because I said that this is one of the best country as well. And I'm very fascinated of the landscape over there and volcanic rocks. And he got a job, and some months later he appeared into my office and he was smiling. And he said that, wow, I am really very grateful for EURES service, because I am on Iceland, in the country I was dreaming about. And I have a wonderful job, and I met fantastic people. And he said that he would like to show how grateful he is. And he said that he brought me a gift.
Wow.
So I said, okay, this is just my job. Moreover, we are not allowed to accept any gifts. But nevertheless, he opened his bag and took out the volcanic rocks, which he brought especially for me. And I remember what he said, that EURES helped him to get back on his feet when he was losing his hope. And it was really something really.
It's a beautiful story.
Yeah, beautiful story.
Yeah, yeah.
And I still keep that volcanic rock on my shelf. Yeah.
I can imagine, because for some people it's a life-changing
exactly
experience, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't about job, but it wasn't about changing his life.
Yeah, and this is your experience. I bet you all have a life-changing experience for a candidate that you've helped. I heard that you had one of the fastest placements once.
Yes, that was, well, it's been a while ago, but it was at the moment that I got a vacancy, an employer from, I think it was France. He had his camping place. It was a Dutch employer, had his camping place over there, and he said, well, I'm looking for somebody in the reception, because we have a lot of Dutch guests and so on. So it was in the morning that I got this vacancy. In the afternoon, I spoke to a young girl. She said, "Well, I'm interested in going abroad, and my experience could be very well helped with it." And I said, "But how young are you?" Well, she said, "I'm just 18." I said, "Okay." I said, "Well, in a matter of fact, I have a vacancy in France, and could it be something for you?" And then she said, "Well, I have to go home and ask my parents." I can imagine. I mean, okay. So, and then a few days later, I called this camping place to tell them that I had some people spoken, and maybe somebody could have called him up. And then I phoned, and I got this familiar voice at the phone. And it was the girl.
She was already there.
She was already there. She was already also in charge of taking up phone calls and everything.
That's
so within, let's say, 24 hours,
it was done. She was already in France, placement done, and her parents, of course, allowed her to go there.
Yeah.
So, but you say 18 is quite young. There's been younger people put to work, Jürgen. I heard you actually contracted your daughter once for a project.
Oh yeah. She finished high school, and she wanted to go abroad. And I have good colleagues on the Canary Islands, and we were actually looking for a bar, maybe some Scandinavian-speaking people. But then suddenly I took care of the phone, and there was a hotel in the north of the North Circle in Norway asking for a person because one had get sick. And I told her, well, I'm going to advertise this, but he was a very hurry up. I had to do something, and I called my daughter and said, well, It's not the Canary Islands. It's even not Spain. Let's go a little more north. It's actually north of the North Circle. And she said, yes, fantastic. 2 days after, she had the ticket and she started there. And she was there for 3 months. That was a fantastic...
so great experience. Now, what I was actually going for another time, and we have a picture of that. Maybe that will jog your memory. Can we put that picture on there? Look at that.
Oh my God.
Oh, sorry for my children, because actually they won a lot of prizes, so that was in it for me.
Yeah. So this was part of a project that you did.
It was a seasonal work that we did for many years. Yes, and it was the whole idea was that it's hard to find people for this kind of work in Denmark because you have to stay on the farm and it's summer holidays. But students from southern countries might be able to earn some money and have some fun also. So, but in the beginning we only had the fax, so I was sitting looking at the fax machine, and the employers, they were knocking on the door. We need more applicants, and then the internet came, and we then made a website. So instead of having 3 faxes a day, we actually had up to 300 applications a day. It was incredible change. So
and all of a sudden,
very useful. And I actually just visited 3 of the farms from that time, and they told me that actually it's some of the same people who are here. So they really have EURES was fantastic, good thing happening for them.
For years, this strawberry vacancy was the most popular vacancy in EURES Spain.
The strawberry picking, right?
And Jürgen was called Strawberry Jürgen all over the network.
The strawberry man.
Strawberry king.
Well known.
But you talk about tools. The fax machine got replaced by the internet, but didn't there used to be a newsletter, Daniel, from EURES?
Well, one of the things we have learned working in EURES is that everything changes all the time. Now we're in a changing time again, but we were in a big change when we started with the internet. And we started with a newsletter in the beginning because there weren't social media.
It was paper.
It was paper. It was paper, and we sending paper to the employment offices. But after that, very old times, we had email. Can you believe it? And we send it to a list of institutions and direct to clients. And later on, we, as EURES Spain, started with a strategy in order to use this brand new thing that were in that time social media. And now we are thinking in other ways to contact with our clients.
So it ever changes, like you said, ever changes, ever develops.
The lesson is that always is changing all the time. Now we have the AI that we don't know, but change is a normal thing.
Yeah, you need to keep up with the times. It's not just the tools in that sense that changes, but there's also support that changes. We have the TMS programs, Annika, Targeted Mobility Scheme.
Targeted Mobility Scheme, yes. And that started, I think it was in 2012 or 13. As your first EURES job, and then it was for a limited age span, and now it is for everybody, and we have the relocation support, and we have the language courses, and we have the supports for family members. This is really good, and it's well used. We just had a report from our project manager, Gisela Sarri, because Sweden is hosting one of the bigger TMS projects, and she said she was really happy that we have one now ending and the other starting, and there's a new call, which means this will continue. And it's so good for job seekers, for employers, and for their families.
Yes.
So definitely a valuable means of support.
It's good, and it's also quite good money.
Yeah, and it's
get started.
Even within the EURES network, it actually could use a little bit of more attention to be used by the different countries and the advisors. So also for the people watching, it would be good to think about TMS as well when they.
Absolutely, I think there should be a dedicated training on the TMS.
Yeah.
That might be a good idea, a dedicated training TMS. Well, let's get our new advisors, of course, involved as well. We have another couple of quiz questions for them. And then let's see how we will do. So is everybody ready? I can see people stretching out, getting ready for the answers. All right. Curious how everybody will do, but especially also here at the table. So we'll start with round number 2. First question, here we go. All right, so first question. What was there before EURES started? Was that blue, the ECU? Was that yellow, the EEC? Or was it red, SEDOC, S-E-D-O-C? What was it? Now we see a couple of colors come into the screen. Now, of course, we know what this is because I kind of like spoiled it a little bit earlier in the broadcast. So let's see if everybody paid attention. And it is indeed red. It is SEDOC. Now, I already said what it stands for, but I'll repeat it one more time. I have to get my cheat sheet in here because I cannot remember it. It stands for European System for International Clearing of Vacancies and Applications for Employment. Right?
EURES services sounds better.
EURES services sounds better. Let's stick to EURES. I think that's a good idea.
I think I read somewhere that after 2 years they had 2 vacancies cleared.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a bit different now. Luckily, we have a bit more. But everybody on the screen had it correct, so well done, new advisors. Let's go to the next question. So, next question. Which 2 EURES advisors can we see here on the screen? Is it Arend and Jürgen? Is it Daniel and Arend? Or is it Daniel and Jürgen? Who shall it be? Blue, yellow, or red?
Maybe you have...
Let's see if the people can see it. Yeah, look at that. I see reds all around. Red, 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 red. Well, I must say, you are correct. It is actually red. It's Daniel and Jürgen. You both look so handsome there.
Yeah,
You
we look better
handsome,
now.
Obviously. But those 2 young men, look where they are today. 31 years later, probably.
Oh my God.
Very good. Well done. All right. We go off to the next question. Question number 3. Where was the 10th anniversary of EURES held? Was it in Dublin, blue? Was it in yellow, Lisbon? Or was it perhaps in Brussels, red? See a lot of blues now. I hope that I did my homework correct this time. And what do I see on the screen? See no colors on the screen. Oh, yeah, blue, blue, blue. Yeah, everybody's got blue. You must be very knowledgeable because the right answer is, of course, it is blue, Dublin. And we saw it in the report already. Might be a little bit of a teaser there where Dublin was. So very well done. Anyone been to Dublin?
Yes, of course.
Everybody's been to
Yes,
Dublin.
of course.
Am I the only one that has not been to Dublin?
That conference.
Oh, that's
The 10-year conference.
The 10-year conference. Well, yeah, sounds logical. All right, next question. Let's see. So, before we all became a EURES advisor, what was there before we became that? Was it a SEDOC EURES advisor or blue? Was it yellow EQ specialist or was it red Euro advisor? Now, I see reds all around. Maybe these questions are too easy. I don't know. Maybe I need to make it more difficult. But indeed, it is Euro advisor. What was again Euro advisor? Oh, no, Daniel, you said they were asking you where the money would be going.
Yes, because, you know, Euro appeared officially in 2002, I think.
Yes,
It's true.
it
It
was.
just came before
Yes.
and then came to
And we in EURES were working 4 years before.
Yeah.
And, you know, people sounds like very similar, and sometimes, not all the days, but sometimes people appear asking questions because one of the good things of EURES was that we are not a cloud, we were a network of people.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
people around you can come to ask
Yeah.
sometimes stupid things, maybe or not, but sometimes interesting things, but you were there.
You were available and they could reach you.
I know that the German colleagues, they got loads of questions about the euro. They came in for financial advice on the change from mark to euro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Well, not anymore. EURES advisor could switch there. All right. Okay. There's no more questions on this round, so well done, everyone. Well done also the new advisors on the screen. You had all the answers correct, I believe, every single one of you. Now, we've discussed the past. Let's go and visit the present. And for that, I went to the head office of ELA, and let's go and see what was going on in Bratislava.
30 years of EURES, and for that I'm here in a windy Bratislava at the head office of the European Labour Authority, where I'll be meeting Cosmin Bianju. He's the Executive Director of ELA, and we're going to go and find him inside. Thank you for having us here. For the people watching, could you please introduce yourself and where we are?
Yes, well, we are at ELA, European Labour Authority, and I'm the Executive Director, Cosmin Bianju. I'm a career diplomat, but for the past few years I've been running this new European institution. EURES first responds to the aspirations of people to work, to live in another country in Europe. Joining with EURES is a natural, I think, union because we both have the same mission. We also have at ELA the mandate to provide information to citizens, to provide them with information about job opportunities across the EU, and integrating EURES with ELA, I think it was the best way forward from this point of view.
What would you say has been the biggest milestone in those years?
Well, it's simple. In these 3 years, I think the biggest milestone was to grow ELA into a mature organization, but also to smoothly integrate EURES.
And in what ways has EURES demonstrated resilience in responding to recent major crises such as the pandemic?
Yes, we were not spared in the past few years of crisis, and EURES has shown its resilience, but also importance. It was active during the pandemic through the online job fairs and other online instruments, and also during this recent crisis, the war of aggression of Russia in Ukraine. It's shown that we can support refugees and displaced persons from Ukraine to find a proper job in Europe. I think the best experience in working with EURES has been the drafting of a strategy for the EURES portal, and working on that and looking into how to integrate new technologies like artificial intelligence. It also shown the big potential of EURES for the future to respond to the challenges that are to come for the labor market in Europe. Well, EURES advisors have done a great job over the year, and a lot of work for their mission with EURES. Now I think my main advice would be to be open for change. Again, there are many challenges coming up, and we need to be at their level. We need to match these challenges and need to be open for technology, open for new ways of doing business, our day-to-day work. So that's the main advice, be open for change.
So that was very, very interesting, and happy to have finally met him in person. I still have a few minutes or maybe a day here in Bratislava, so I'm going to see what else is there to see in this beautiful city while you go back to the studio.
Well, absolutely beautiful place to visit Bratislava. So if you've not been there yet, go and plan a trip. It was also a great chance to meet some of the lovely colleagues we have working with us in the ELA, and especially some of the colleagues that helped us create this show today. You remember Marta Trask?
Yes.
Oh,
Everybody
yes.
knows her. Oh,
yes.
yes. Everybody knows her. Well, she actually helped us out with the episode and preparing everything. Lovely person. But not just Marta, we also have some other colleagues that I would like to thank now that I have the chance. Paolo Merenciano, thank you so much. Of course, not to forget Emmett King and Roman Belovic for the support that we get for the episodes of EUREStv. And again, Bratislava, everybody visited there, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We have a no here at the table.
Yeah.
Oh my. We need to get
I had 7 months to go there now.
7 months, yeah? Yeah, we're counting down, Arend.
All right.
Maybe we should have a trip together there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Sounds like a good idea. Just getting back to where we are and where we're heading, of course, with EURES as a network. Beata, what do you think are the most visible changes from when you started today and where we're heading now with EURES?
I would say that now we have less clients than we used to have, because when we joined the European Union and EURES in 2004, there were like hundreds of Polish people who wanted to go abroad. Now that number is getting lower. I remember the first job fair, it was held in Łódź, I think it was in April 2004, so even before Poland became the member of European Union, and we had like hundreds of people queuing before the door was open. And I remember that my British colleagues and Irish colleagues, I don't know if you joined that, you participate in that job fair, but we had really a lot of clients. Now that number is getting lower.
Yeah.
But I would like to point out that the other kind of service now EURES is involved in, return mobility. Because now EURES not just send people abroad, but also helping people who would like to go back to their home country. So we are organizing meetings for them, so just to prepare them for coming back to Poland.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good initiative. And you do see that everything's moving more digitally, Annika.
Oh,
you think
yes.
it's a good thing?
It has to be. It's not always good. I agree with Beata on the fact that we meet less of the job seekers because they use the digital tools.
Exactly.
And even in Spain, I heard that you can use TikTok. That's interesting.
Yes, we use everything. Also TikTok, yes, to connect with, in particular, young audiences. You know, technology now is everything what we do. So
it's a lovely tool. I don't think it should be the master, but it's a tool.
It helps.
Exactly with AI. The same with AI.
Yeah, because you say you can use TikTok or any way to connect with the young people. With the age of the internet, you think that would be the major one, social media, to connect, or?
Well, it's not only social media, it's the way we talk with clients. After the pandemics, the most of my meetings with clients are online, using Teams or Zoom or whatever, you know. And this is a part of the daily work, for good and for bad, but mainly for good. Now I can have meetings, we have meetings once a day almost with colleagues of other countries. And in other times you need to organize a schedule, budget, etc. in order to organize a meeting with colleagues, and now it's just doing like this.
Yeah.
The possible bad thing would be the lack of personal networking. But I think that we can find a good mix of personal presence and online.
Like a hybrid mix.
Yeah.
Because you said the bus tour would likely not happen again.
No, because, actually some of the challenges right now is that a lot of countries have the same problem they need the same kind of people. So I think what we try to do is try to find some more win-win projects. For example, to take graduates who maybe have difficulties to get a job in their own country, maybe they can go to Denmark or Germany or whatever and get maybe 1 year, 2 years, and then they can go back and have a good job.
Like win-win reciprocity.
Or we can even give them some training in some other projects and diplomas which they can use all over Europe. So we have to think that both parts should have something out of it, I think.
So think outside of the box. More cooperation between the countries. That would be something that can be part of the change. Alan, we need to be open for change. You've done that a few times already in the past, I think, because you've been in different roles with EURES.
Myself?
Yeah. Yeah, but also the services that you provide.
Also in the services. Yeah. Yes, of course. And when the internet came, let's say we all know we had these job fairs on site and everything, and then the internet came, and suddenly Brussels said, okay, we can do it online also. And then we were, I think, maybe the first, at least one of the first countries that started out to do that. I remember the first time we did it for Nordic Working. We went to this basement in Utrecht. We had second-hand equipment and everything, so we had bad connections, but at least we tried it. We had people from Brussels coming in and experts, of course. And it was a great experience. And now we have the EURES and it's EURES, and it's all shiny and very cost-effective and time-effective, at least. So it's very good that we did that. But what we also miss is the personal connection.
Yeah.
Especially the networking, but also with clients. I mean, of course, like the Netherlands, we have 20 people now, especially working for job seekers again, for every citizen in the Netherlands. But we have only 20 people. So if there's a lack of personnel in one part of the country, I can step in from my area just to do it online. So then it's easy. But people want to more or less touch you when they
see people.
You want to see people. They want to feel it.
People want to see people.
So it should always be part of your role, I suppose. The interaction, personal interaction. But the EURES is a good tool.
Yeah.
There's an event coming in October, I believe, a European EURES with multiple countries I think out of Sweden.
I think so.
Sweden, I think the idea comes from Sweden and the Netherlands.
And Germany.
And Germany.
And Portugal.
And Portugal.
And Portugal.
And then it just grew. So now it's many countries and it's a really huge event, EURES30. And it's in the same week as we arrange Swedish Day. So we have major online week that week in October.
But something to look forward to.
Oh yes.
Yeah, a lot of countries presenting, the best of their possibilities within a country in one event. That's good to hear. Well, we'll be sharing some more information about that hopefully soon as well on the EURES portal. It'll be promoted there in the EUJD portal. General question. What would you be looking forward to as a EURES advisor at this stage?
For me, one of the best things to work as a EURES advisor, sorry. I'm coming back to the 90s, is that you are learning things all the time. You are updating your skills continuously because you need to work updated with the new technologies, with the new ways to handling vacancies, to attend people. And for me, my goal is learning brand new things all the time and help the most people and I could help, because at the end this is the big prize. With someone came to your office, as you said before, and you say thank you, my life is changing, whatever, that things.
So just like Cosmin said, you need to be open for change, and I do believe we are all open for change, because that is why you're as advisor. It's something that you always change. You change, you support, you help, you develop. Any special advice for, of course, the new advisors that we have here, or anyone that's watching?
I would even have some pieces of advice. So first of all, keep in mind that the biggest power of EURES is network. It's an essential element of our work. So my advice would be to be engaged in EURES activities, participate at the EURES trainings, because you have a chance over there to meet your colleagues, enhance your practical knowledge of EURES. And another piece of advice is to remember about the importance of understanding and accepting cultural differences. It is really extremely important. It would be really very beneficial for cooperation with your clients and with your colleagues. Remember that your clients, your colleagues come from a different environment, culturally different environment, different background. And of course, I have to point out that human approach to your clients and always show them respect. And even though sometimes you are not able to find them suitable job at that moment, but at least make them feel that you do care for them and focus on tailor-made advice, tailor-made service. So that's my advice.
I think we can all agree on that advice. Anything Beata might have missed advice?
Well, I think use the training sessions. I think EURES has very, very good training sessions right now, and if possible, use them as much as possible.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. That's true.
Well, speaking of training sessions, let's switch again to the future of EURES, of course, that are with us on the digital screen, because we have another few questions that perhaps can train them in the knowledge of EURES. So let's pull up the last round of the quiz, round number 3, and hopefully everybody's ready. I can see them all sitting there, ready to go. First question. Let's see, which digital broadcast was launched in 2022? Well, that can't be too difficult. Was it blue, EURES Vision? Was it yellow, LRTV? Or was it red, EUREStv? So, I better be seeing red all around the table. There we go. And on the screen, red it is. Well done. It is EUREStv, of which you are a part right now. Okay, fun questions out of the way. Let's start with a serious question. Next question on the screen is, which European flag has the most colors in it? Is it blue, Croatia? Is it yellow, Spain? Or is it red, Portugal? Now, this one might start a discussion when the answer comes, but let's see. Let's see what we think.
Portugal.
We see blue, we see red, we see yellow. We got all the colors. Actually, according to my research, it is the answer blue. Croatia. Believe it or not.
Where is the?
There could be a discussion that Croatia and Portugal have the same amount of colors, but we'll let Google sort that one out. But I found out it is Croatia, I was told.
It's close.
Next question. Here we go. The European Union has a sentence to describe its values. Now, you already know it, obviously. But which one is it? Blue, peace and unity. Yellow, united in diversity. Or red, diversity is happiness. Or a personal preference. I see some yellow, I see some red. And on the screen, yellow, yellow, yellow. United in diversity.
Maybe.
I think
I think the new colleagues have it, because the good answer is yellow. It is united in diversity. Most people had it correct.
I'm for peace.
I'm not going to point anyone out that had it wrong, but Arend, that was not right.
But it was good.
I like it, the red
Sounds
one.
good, but it was not good. All right, over to the last question of that last round. Arend Mutt, since we're on the subject, is also a training expert with EURES. But what is his signature move? Does he do a traditional clock dance during his trainings? That's blue. Does he do a karate group exercise, which is yellow? Or red, does he do a selection of yoga poses? Who can remember that one? There we go. I see some yellows.
Don't say anything.
Digital guest, have you ever had a training of Arend Mutt? Then you definitely know this one. I see yellows coming up.
I follow him.
It is, well, it is correct. It is yellow. Yeah, there we go. Yellow, a karate group exercise. Because you're not just an expert trainer for EURES, you're also an expert in karate. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
yes.
you have a black belt?
Yes, black belt and 3 den grades, as they call it.
Yeah.
In my own karate school, so yes.
That's very impressive. I always feel safe when I'm on the road with you.
I have the same when I'm on the road with you.
Yeah, we manage.
Good cooperation.
I think so. All right. Well, I think we're coming towards the end of this episode. Looking ahead to the future, many new challenges we shall have to face together. But also new opportunities will come, as we've seen in the past few years. I'm excited. Hopefully you are as well.
Of course.
With all your experience and guidance, I hope the new advisors can take some of that and have a great job with yours and a great future ahead of them. In our report with Denny and Cosmin, it was also mentioned that the new report was going to be available soon. Labour shortages and surpluses should be available now on the EURES portal, so do have a look at that. There's also a very excellent dashboard there that you can play around with. Gives a very good overview of how it is balanced out in Europe. I would like to thank everybody in the studio here today for coming all the way to EUREStv, joining us here, being part of this program, and of course to our digital guests. Thank you so much for joining us in this program and your support in the quiz, of course. Also join us again in September, where we will focus on the labour shortages and surpluses, together with guests from the ELA and other interesting guests that we will have in the studio and on-site reports. So join us then. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care. And of course, as always, hope to see you somewhere in Europe sometime soon.